Sports fans to this college football recap show. In this episode, I'm going to be discussing the Wolverines game against the Hoosiers last Saturday, as well as the Spartans game against the Hawkeyes. I also will preview the Wolverines game tonight against the Badgers, as well as the Spartans game against the Hoosiers. However, to lead this segment off, I'm going to talk about the Wolverines game against the Hoosiers on Saturday. To call it a game, I would say would be kind, because in all essence, it was a debacle. I think most of us know that by now. It was the Wolverines' greatest loss since 1959 to the Hoosiers. It was their first loss to the Hoosiers since 1987. It's amazing to me that Jim Harbaugh was not fired after this game. Bo Schembechler coached the Wolverines for 21 years, and he lost to the Hoosiers once. Jim Harbaugh has coached them for 6 years and has already lost to them once. Now, granted, the Hoosiers have been a better team these last 6 years than they were when Bo Schembechler coached against them for the most part. I'll grant them that. But still, it's a talented Hoosier team. They're undefeated in the Big Ten. I understand all that. To me, the Wolverines should have been able to beat them. And the fact that they got dominated is sickening. I think there are a couple of things that have emerged from my mind after this game now. I think as highly touted as quarterback Joe Milton has been, he's not playing too much better than Shea Patterson did. I mean, he might have a little bit more of a dynamic to him, but I don't see him being a dynamic quarterback. Not at all. Not at all. And he seems ill-suited to be able to lead the Wolverines for an entire game because his propensity for throwing interceptions is getting to be something. And that cost the Wolverines dearly on Saturday. And I'll give the Hoosiers credit. I'm not knocking them. They played a hell of a game against the Wolverines. And I give them all the credit in the world for winning. But I think the Wolverines and their arrogant mindset and mentality is getting the better of them. And they need to recognize how much more talented college football teams are now than they were even 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, and how the level has gone up, which I think has eluded Jim Harbaugh for some reason, though it didn't seem to elude him when he was the head coach at Stanford. I just really don't understand this. I mean, at the time, I thought, this would be a slam dunk for him coming back to coach his alma mater, but if anything, it's been more like the Titanic. And I've been thinking about this for a while now, and it eludes me. It absolutely eludes me. I cannot put my finger on it. Not at all. I think it's sickening. It's disturbing. And even though there haven't been any fans in the stands for this season, it's just, it's almost beyond words now. And if they don't beat the Badgers tonight, the hot seat that Jim Harbaugh is in is going to get a whole lot hotter. And I would not be surprised if he's destined to be fired before the end of the season. Like I said, I'm surprised he wasn't asked to resign after the game on Saturday or just outright fired. If they don't win tonight, I think it's a good possibility he will be, whether he wants to be or not. The Wolverines have got to go in a different direction. And while Jim Harbaugh was saying that they were close, I have no idea what he thinks they're close to besides being towards the bottom of the Big Ten and being a disaster like they were in 2008, which lasted for quite a while and actually lasted until Brady Hoke turned them around somewhat after he took over. So don't know what Jim Harbaugh's mindset is, don't understand his thinking anymore. He ought to be more upset than what he is, as far as I'm concerned. I'm furious. I'm furious on one hand and not surprised on the other, I would say. So we'll see what happens with that. In the next segment, I'm going to discuss the Spartans game against the Hawkeyes last Saturday. Stay tuned to College Football Recap on Ed's Sports Channel.